Hello, Otaku Fujoshi and the Anime Curious. My name is Random Sama 613 and welcome to Anime Opinions. This episode I'm going to start with my first impressions of the spring 2014 anime season, and thus far, they've been very good. I haven't watched anything I haven't liked. I've only watched 3 series so far, and those are the 3 I'm going to talk about. And those are The Irregular Magical High School, Kawaii Complex, I'm not giving you the full title, that thing's ridiculously long, and Brunhilde in the Darkness. I have like these 2 varying degrees. So, first off, I'm going to start with The Irregular Magical High School, which is being done by Madhouse. Now, a lot of people they've kind of said that so far it's kind of been a mediocre series for them, and I can kind of see where they're coming from in that aspect. It's definitely going to need a little bit of work to get better, but I'm still really enjoying it so far. The basic premise for The Irregular Magical High School is that magic has been basically turned into a science. Science has been able to create magic, essentially. And as a result of a bunch of other aspects, starting in about 2030, World War III broke out and has been raging for like 50 years over resources and stuff like that. So that's the generalized backdrop. It's looking like the series is going to follow the brother and sister duo of Miyuki and Tatsuya, and they've entered into an elite high school for people learning how to use magic. Now, the first thing I'm going to mention, of course, is that the animation actually looks pretty good. It looks pretty sleek. I wouldn't say it looks as good as like a PA Works title, because nothing looks as good as a PA Works title. However, I will say that it still looks very, very good. And specifically, I'd mention that the uniforms look fantastic. They're probably some of the sleekest uniforms I've seen this year so far. So I'm really liking that. The fight scene, there's one fight scene, looks freaking awesome. It was really, really well done, and my only regret is that they didn't do enough of it. They actually did 2 fight scenes now that I think about it. And the way that they did the magic powering up and the way that they did that, like, that looked really, really sleek and really nice, and I really liked how that looked, for sure. I think one of the things that I noticed immediately about the series is that they're already dropping overarching plot points, but they're not really explaining it. They kind of just mention some stuff like the main character, the brother, is kind of mentioning some numbers and a couple other things. He just kind of randomly drops them out there and he's kind of observing stuff. And he was brought into the high school as an irregular, also known as a weed. And he's basically like a second string student. He's not as good as some of the first string. And I think that he definitely has more power than he's letting on. Beyond that, I'm really liking all the characters so far. It's been an episode, there hasn't been a lot of character development. The brother-sister relationship's a little hinky, but as a devoted siscon, I can kind of live with that. So it's definitely a little more than just brother-sister whatever. It's feeling a little more incestual, and like I said, as a siscon, I'm kind of okay with that. There's some just really neat moments I want to mention, like on their way to the shrine, or about halfway through the series, the sister is basically roller skating, but they're kind of like magic roller skates. And then the brother is running, but he's using his magic to kind of accelerate his stride. It's really just cool to watch, and it was really just fun to watch. I really liked that. I'd also say that another really cool thing was there was laundry magic, which I thought was hilarious. It felt very strange. Once you watch the first episode, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about, and I thought that was kind of amusing. I'm not sure about the soundtrack yet, though. That's one of the things I'm not entirely sure about, because they played it was either the OP or the ED at the end of the episode, and I'm not sure if I like it yet or not. There's not very much music overall in the series. There's music during the fight scenes, and specifically the fight scene at the shrine had some really sweet electronic music, and I really liked that. But we'll see how that changes. Next up in this series that I watched is what I'm going to abbreviate to Kawaii Complex. I don't have the full title in front of me. I believe it's the Kawaii Complex to hostile behavior. I don't remember exactly what it is. So it's a really long title though, and it's being done by Brainsbase, who've done a lot of really good series. So I'm definitely looking forward to watching more of this. The series follows Usa, who is a first-year high schooler, and he lives in the Kawaii Complex with 1 eye, not 2. And his parents moved away, and he convinced his parents to let him live on his own so he could go to high school. And he's ended up with a perverted roommate who is a masochist and into all sorts of weird things. And So some hilarity ensues there, of course. There's the landlady, who is super awesome. She's a grandmotherly kind of character, but she kind of indulges all of the weird quirks of all of her tenants. And she's super awesome. I can't really explain her more than that. She's a great plot device, and I really, really like her. There's also the love interest whose namesake is in the Kawaii complex. And so she's Kawaii Senpai, and I'll, of course, continue to make jokes about that. I'm going to leave them alone for now. And there's a salary worker who we meet near the end, and she's really weird and quirky, and it's a really weird series, but it's really charming in its weirdness. And it's really wacky and kind of slapstick-like, and it's a situation comedy, but it's really, really fun, and I'm really enjoying it. It looks really, really good. It looks fantastic because it does some of the things that I really like the fabrics, the way that they move. The patterns don't move, but the underlying color does. So it has this great illusion, a lot like what Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei does. A lot like that for the fabrics, and I really, really like that. All the characters are interesting so far. I'm definitely looking forward to it, because I think that the most normal of all of them is Usa, and I think that him being the straight man and all this weird wackiness is definitely going to be interesting. And I'm really enjoying it so far. It's been a lot of fun. I can't really explain it more than that. I'll also say that the soundtrack is really, really good. It fits really well. All of the background pieces fit good. The OP is excellent as well. And I'm looking forward to watching it more. It's not going to be super groundbreaking, but it's just been enjoyable to watch, and that counts for a lot in my viewing pleasure. So I definitely recommend checking it out. And last and arguably least is Brynhildr in the Darkness, done by Studio Arms, who did Elfenlied, which I personally freaking hated, and I actually didn't finish it because I hated it that much. The primary premise for Brynhildr in the Darkness is that the main character's friend, named Kuroneko, no, not that one, different one, she died 10 years ago when she fell off, when an accident occurred with both of them. And so she was obsessed with aliens and trying to prove that aliens existed. So after she died, the main character took over, the cause of trying to find aliens. And it cut to 10 years later in class, and there's a new transfer student, and the girl looks exactly like his childhood friend. And it's really weird like that. So that's the basic premise. I wouldn't say that the first episode was great. It kind of introduces what's going on. It gives you that supernatural vibe. It kind of starts to raise questions, but I wouldn't say that it is as strong as the other two that I've seen so far. I will say that the OP is great. It's an instrumental OP, which is really unusual. And it's quite good. I rather enjoyed listening to it. I will say that the animation quality looks okay. It doesn't look great, but it certainly doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad, doesn't look great. I'd say it's definitely middle of the road, maybe a little bit above average in terms of how it looks. And the other thing I'll mention from it is just that there's some awkward moments that I really don't think they needed to introduce. Like, screenshots have been posted already on Twitter of just, like, the main character, when he thinks he knows who the transfer student is, asks her to let him see her armpits, because there's a set of moles on his childhood friend's armpit that he'd be able to recognize her by. And of course, that's not something you really want to do in the middle of a crowded classroom. And just those awkward moments really don't contribute anything for me. Personally, I hate cringeworthy moments like that. And I think it really detracted from the series. The supernatural elements are definitely there, I would say, also in the series. They're definitely introduced by the character who looks like the main character's childhood friend, because she's a witch, which she's been created, so they explain how she's been created to be a witch. And it's definitely raised questions for me, but I don't necessarily know that the series is going to be a strong one. I'm hoping I'm wrong, because Elfenlied disappointed me, and I'm hoping this one does not. So I'm willing to see where it goes. I'm willing to give it 3 episodes, but it's got to do something pretty quick to really capture me. So that's the first part of my first impressions. I'm sure Al will have more for you. What did you guys think of these 3 anime that I just talked about? Go ahead and leave your comments down below. If you liked the video, go ahead and like it. If you didn't like it, go ahead and dislike it by all means, but please tell me why you didn't like it. I do like constructive criticism. If you haven't already subscribed to me, please by all means do. I do release a video every single week. But until next time, I've been RandomSama613. This has been Anime Opinions. Until then, watch more anime.